Hi and welcome to another video. And this video is really something about, for older runners, you hear it again and again. Is my peak behind me? Is my best running behind me? Or can I get faster and can I get better as I get older? And I like to think, not that I just think you can, I know that you can. However, it's about looking at what your strengths and weaknesses. And what I want to look at in this video is just that, the sort of things that you need to do or not do so that you get faster or at least more consistent as you get older. So am I going to tell you age is just a number? No, it is an actual reality. It's something that we all have to deal with. And ultimately, age does win out. But it is about outrunning age for as long as you can. And if you keep doing the same thing, then you're going to keep getting the same results. I really had a major change in my life, probably when I was about 52. I'm nearly 59 now. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine in my hair salon. And he's 20 years younger than me. And he asked me when my peak as a runner was. And I found myself burbling on about when I was in my 30s and my PBs then. And when he left, I felt quite hacked off because I suddenly realized that I'd kind of given into society's expectations of me as a person and as a runner and kind of just decided that was it. And from that day, I decided to kind of work on a what if mentality. What if I could do this? And set myself some goals. Now, not all these goals were just about PBs. They were about being more consistent. And I wasn't sure that I could hit the PBs from my younger years. And some of you watching this, depending on how good a runners you were when you were younger, you may not hit those PBs, but there are other, if you think of peaks as mountains, there are other mountains. They may not be as big as your previous mountains, but they're still there. And the goals that you set may be different. But I see a lot of older runners give up on peaks that they could hit. And this is where I feel very passionate as a running coach that you can hit some of those peaks that you don't think you can hit. And that's been definitely true for me since that moment in the hair salon. I changed my mindset, I think, and I discovered there were, like new peaks to climb, new things to do. And I'm a great fan of Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hour rule, which states it takes 10,000 hours to become fully proficient at any skill. Now, as an older runner, that should be music to your ears because we've got a wealth of within running and outside of running that we can draw on to use those skills effectively. However, what I see with a lot of older runners is it's a bit like that old Eric Morecambe sketch with Andre Previn, where he says, I'm playing all the right notes, but not particularly in the right order. It does become about dosage and intensity and what you do with your whole life that will really denote how successful as an older runner you are. And when I say successful, I'm either getting faster or more consistent or just enjoying your running more with less injuries in them. I think a big factor is not to overcomplicate your training, to focus on providing the proper stimulation to your body and recovery for your body so that it adapts is pretty much in the bigger picture. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And also to consider what your overall lifestyle is. As a coach, I often say this to runners, is like, they would be getting perhaps injuries or niggles. And, they say, I'm doing all the right things in my running league. Remember the Eric Morecambe sketch? I'm playing all the right notes. And they're like, oh, you're playing them in the right order. And in the respect of, if running is 10% of your whole life, or even if it's 20% of your whole life, what are you doing with that other 80 or 90% of your life? What's your sleep like? What's your diet like? Are you sedentary for the rest of the life? Do you have a job that it means that you're predominantly sitting down? Are you utilizing movement well outside of running? Are you walking? What are you doing? Because that's what also you bring to the table. The tail does not wag the dog, so to speak. So, you might be trying to become a faster runner in that 10 to 20% of time, but at 80% of your life, will predominantly impact and impinge the results that you get. Also, the intensities and dosage that you run. So there's a lot of talk about 80, 20 running. And like I say, look at your life as an overall 100%. What are you doing with that? But also look at what predominantly are you attracted to as a runner. So, for example, there's a lot of talk about running easy for older runners to get faster, and I would totally agree with that, because the question had to be, how well developed is your aerobic base? And even if you've been a runner of some time, depending on what your preference is and how you've run, you may not have developed that ability as well as you might think. And if you haven't, then that quite often you're the type of runner that might turn around and go, I don't do higher intensity running because I get injured. But what's probably happening is you're trying to build a skyscraper on top of not such good foundations. And those foundations are your zone 2 running. And we get a lot of runners where older runners, they come to us, we get them doing zone 2 running, which is more conversational in nature. And they will tell us that they feel like they're running so slowly. And I say, slowly for whom? You're not running too slowly for your body, because, that's what your body requires. What you're running too slowly for is what you perceive as too slow. And the reason that is that your brain is writing checks that your body can't yet cash. Now, a lot of runners know about running in zone 3, and it's called the gray zone. It's not running as such in a bad zone. Nothing wrong with zone 3. The problem is many runners that stay in that zone of intensity are running too hard for zone 2, but not hard enough for higher intensities. They avoid those higher intensities and they say, well, we get injured in those intensities, Lee. My argument there is if you look at some of the workouts that we do when we're coaching, there might be a 30 or 40 minute workout, but when you break it down, where it's only 6, 7, 8 minutes of higher intensity stuff actually in that. And then most of the rest of the time is recovery or lower zone running. So it's about dosage, and it's also about not introducing that until you have a good base of easy running or zone 2 running. And I think when older runners embrace the idea of running really easy, and when I say easy, conversationally, i.e. that they can talk while they're running, and then doing higher intensity work with the right dosage, then that's where you start to get the adaptations that I'm talking about. And if your life outside of running has activity in it as well, and you're getting good sleep and you're looking after yourself outside of running, you are going to be more than likely more consistent as a runner. If you're more consistent as a runner, then you're more than likely to improve. And also embracing some discomfort in your life. I don't mean pain, but building up that mental strength. That's really important. But I think a lot of older runners have that. They have experience, and that's something that they have quite often over younger runners. But to finish off the video, I just want to say, remember, running is more than just hitting any peak or PB. It's about your overall health, as I've mentioned, your well-being, reducing stress, and creating lasting friendships. But the point being is that if you're not getting out running, you can't reduce that stress running-wise anyway. It's not helping your overall health, and you can't get out and run with your friends. So whatever your peak is, more running with friends or whatever, I think what I've outlined in this video means that you've got a better chance of doing that. I hope this video has really helped you. If it has, you think you might need help with your running or setting up a plan that you can work with, then, look in the notes. I have a link to look at our running coaching. I run with Butterworth's company, and we help runners get faster and fitter and enjoy their running more. If you've enjoyed this video, then why not give it a like or subscribe to the channel? Any comments you've got, hitting your peak as a older runner, I'd love to hear them in the comment. Anyway, hopefully this has helped. Bye for now.